Welcome! Today, I ask what the heck does Jin Kazama say in Tekken 8? Before I get into this video, just want to shout out and credit these people for helping me out with these translations. Thank you all for your feedback. So, let's get into it. Jin Kazama has had the most drastic change in characterization. Naturally, this has affected the character's vocal direction as Isshin Chiba taps into a lower voice register than heard previously for Jin, sometimes ditching his tenor and lightly nasal voice altogether. From being on the other side of chaos to now rescinding into it with deserved opposition. Jin has one of the most intriguing and unique voices in the Tekken series. It sates my ears. He spatters angst towards those he dislikes, and a reserved softness and forthrightness for those he cares about, especially his mother, Jin Kazama. It's also one of the few instances where I've heard Jin use honorifics canonically. Sure, there's an element of self-assurance, cockiness, and calmness, yet he also brims with rage, curiosity, fear, vulnerability, and agony. These emotions clash from within him as he navigates a tarnished past, conflict, and a power he's yet to control. From hushed words to ear-splitting shouts, he's truly a wild card, especially from an emotional standpoint.
Jin Kazama.
You'll hear this phrase when you're at the character select screen. He's simply saying ikuzo. As I said previously, in regard to Kazuya, means let's go. Just want to add though that before I get any further, you're gonna hear this phrase a lot, and they've really doubled down on the anime shonen karateka trope with the amount of times I've heard ikuzo and chesto. Especially ikuzo, because I feel like I'm playing a Japanese RPG. Alright, moving on. This has been a mainstay quote since Tekken 4, and he's simply saying, come on, he's ready, he's prepared to fight you, let's get into it. Now in game, this is translated as, sorry to keep you waiting, but he's actually saying, it looks like I've kept you waiting. If he were to say that he was sorry, I would see a word that relates to that, like sumanai or something like that, that makes sense in this context. He's just like, oops, I've kept you waiting for this long, let's fight. This is translated as, the only thing now is to keep moving forward. But more so we could simplify this and say, now I just need to keep moving forward. Of course, it's the same thing really, but the translation sounds more direct and self-assured. When I saw that subtitle, I don't know, it's just my interpretation. It felt like he wasn't too sure. The translation kind of gives it that edge of he's self-assured, he's confident, and he's moving on with the past. But we're not going to get into that though. This is heard when you face Devil Jin.
Final round.
In game, this is translated as, what? Oh no you don't. But he's actually saying, this is? I won't let you do it. The reason why it's not what and it is this is because we have korewa, but when korewa is used on its own, it can evoke an emotion of confusion. Now contextually, the phrase saseruka means when you won't stand for someone's nonsense or BS. So in this context, he's saying to Devil Jin that he's not letting him get into his mind and give in to the devil's control or power. This is heard when you face Jin Kazama. Now this is up to par with what's actually being said, and he is saying this. He's saying, mother, but I can't stop. Now if you hear the word kasan, especially when Jin is talking, he's saying mother, San is an honorific, it's a suffix. So whenever you hear Jin say Kasan, he's referring to his mom. He's saying mother or mom. This is heard when you face Lars Alexanderson. In game, this is translated as I'll give this everything I've got. This can also mean I'm going all out or I'll give it my all. Similar meanings really. Zendyoku means all of one's power, so someone's full strength, full power, all their might. This is heard when you face Xiao Yu. In game, this is translated as right, got it. And that is correct. This can also mean though, yeah, I understand, yeah, I've got it. If I were to translate or localize this, I would say something like, yeah, I understand, right, got it. It just feels too direct. And of course, they're friends. When you hear what Xiao Yu says to Jin about trading blows and that showing his character and potentially feelings towards Xiao Yu, I feel like that would be a better translation. But that's a bit of a nitpick for me. That's what I would do if I was to translate this line or localize it. I think this has a better ring. It's a bit softer rather than saying, right, got it. You know what I mean? This is heard when you face Hwarang. Literally, he's saying, come with seriousness or come seriously. But we can contextually say, fight seriously, get serious. I could see why they would tweak it a bit because it does sound a bit awkward to say, come with seriousness. Honki means seriousness, so the seriousness of something. There usually is used to specify the means of by which something is done. Koi means come. So when you put it together, honki de koi, literally, come with seriousness, fight seriously, get serious. But for what it is, it's a decent localization. This is heard when you face Reina. Kazuya was more harsh when asking about who Reina was, but Jin is more curious about this. He doesn't have any animosity towards her. He just asks, who are you? Nothing to translate here, because that's what he's actually saying.
You win.
Now you may be asking me, well, does this mean anything? And the answer is no. This battle cry is used and heard in karate. He says this so often you'd think that he's saying something, but nah.
You win.
Nothing to translate here because this is exactly what he's saying. Power isn't everything. This is translated as, I shall not waver again. I feel like we can interpret this to be more so, I shall not get lost again, versus I shall not waver again. The other interpretations are, I won't hesitate again, or I won't get lost anymore. Now, in the context of Jin's narrative, I feel like saying I shall not get lost again is more fitting because if we think about all the trajectories that he's taken and the mess ups that he's done, it's not like he didn't know what he was doing. It's not like he wasn't aware of his actions. He was very aware, but within that he got lost. The word mayo means to get lost or to waver. So him saying that versus I shall not waver again makes more sense. He didn't actually hesitate to do the things that he did. Contextually, we can say that he wants to be led on the right path again. But fill me in on what you will think of this line. How would you interpret this? This is heard when you face Devil Jin. In game, this is translated as, I won't let you consume me anymore. This can also mean, I will not be consumed by you anymore. This is heard when you face Jun, Xiao Yu, or Huarong.
すべてを犠牲にしてでも俺は進む。すべてを犠牲にしてでも俺は進む。
This is translated as I will prevail, even if it costs me everything. This can also mean even if I sacrifice everything, I will move forward. Same thing, of course, but I feel like the second way of saying this just feels better. It's not as formal. I don't imagine Jin speaking in a lot of formalities. That's how I would interpret it personally. But that's a nitpick. This is heard when you face Reina.
勝手に先輩扱いするな。
This is translated as enough with the senpai talk. But he's actually saying, don't treat me as your senpai without permission. He's probably just confused as to why Reina is calling Jin her senpai if that connection and relationship hasn't really been made. You know, Jin's not too familiar with Reina. He even asks, who is she? I don't think this comes from a place of hostility. I think it comes from a place of he's not too familiar with Reina yet. I don't know you too well as a kohai, so why would you call me this? Setting a boundary there. This is heard when you face Lars, Lee, or Alisa.
あとは俺に任せてくれ。
Again, nothing to translate here because this is what he's actually saying. Leave the rest to me.
受けてみろ。
This is translated as try this, but he's actually saying take this.
ここで終わらせる。ここで終わらせる。
This is translated as time to finish this, but he's actually saying I'll end you here, very simply.
これがデビルの力だ。
The in-game translation is this is the power of the devil himself, but he's actually saying this is the power of devil, or this is the devil's power. The actually part just has more of a ring to it and it's not too awkward in my opinion. Do we need to really say himself? We kind of know what devil looks like in the context of this game. This is heard when you face Xiaoyu or Jun.
すまない。
In game, this is translated as forgive me, but he's actually saying I am sorry because sumanai means being sorry, being very sorry about something. This is heard when you face Kazuya or Devil Jin.
貴様の負けだ。
It's said with such rage, such angst. I love the way this is said. And this simply means you've lost. As heard previously, ikuzo means let's go. And this is heard when heat is activated.
ここだ。
This means here. And this is heard when performing the move Kazama style leg strike flurry while under the Zanshin stance.
もらった。
Means I've got you. This is heard when performing the move low chop karmic epicenter while under the Zanshin stance.
吹き飛べ。
As heard with Kazuya, fukitobe means get blown away. So contextually, he's also saying get off of me, go away. This is heard when he finishes his 10-hit combo. How mean. As said previously, this is just a kiai used in karate. He says this a lot. He's just a true karateka.
負けるか。
Means I can't lose.
甘いな。
Amai na means you're naive. If we look at the word amai, it means sweet, but it can also mean someone who's a bit naive, a bit of a softie.
なめるな。
Now this is a slang phrase, and this means don't look down on me, don't mess with me. Literally, this does mean don't lick, but contextually, the word nameru can also mean to take the piss out of someone or to make light of something. So nameru na has a similar tone to the phrase don't underestimate me.
まだだ。
This means not yet. He's winded and doesn't want to give up the fight. Not yet anyway. This is heard when Jin is faintly damaged.
俺には時間がない。
I don't think this line is used at all, but I'll translate this anyway. He's saying, I don't have time for this. I felt that one. The vocal direction is quite scary to me, especially when I watched the Tekken 8 trailer, the very first one. I was thinking, whoa, is this the same Jin that we know? But it kind of deviates our expectations of that. It works because as a character, and especially with what he's going through in this game, he just sounds weathered, battered, almost over it. I've always found Jin's voice attractive, but outside of that, Isshin Chiba does such a great job of portraying that vulnerability, and it just adds that humanity to the character, having that variation, having that range in tonality. The fact that he's voiced this character for this long, I feel like he's just synonymous with the character. I mean, I can't think of any other voice actor that could portray Jin. Here's what he had to say about portraying the character in Tekken Blood Vengeance.
鉄拳自体は僕普通にユーザーとして楽しんでまして、1と2と大好きな作品に、ましてやその時の主人公として、出させていただくっていうのはすごく役者冥利に尽きるなと、思いまして、今回の映画という形ではどういうポジショニングになるのかなっていうのが非常に楽しみだったので、ワクワクしながら収録に臨みました。
He also did an amazing job in that film as well. Again, as I said about Devil Jin, he did that. I just love it. It's beautiful. It's just very beautiful. And that answers the question. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in another video.